Fubara. I feel for the commissioners. These people who supported him were there for him. Epelle. Human rights advocate Jake Epelle has expressed concern over the recent sack of commissioners by Governor Fubara following his return to office after the lifting of the emergency rule in Rivers State. Speaking during an interview with New Central TV, Epelle said the decision to remove the commissioners carried deeper political meaning and may not be as simple as it appears. He explained that while the governor has the right to hire and fire, the situation seems to involve hidden influences. Of course now, you already know what's going on, that he has to sack those ones so that he can put the one that the one that he wants is going to put them there. That's just what's going on. There may be hands that we can see, but the voice we hear is the voice of Jacob, while the hands look like the hands of Esau. Epelle said, suggesting that someone else might be influencing the governor's decision behind the scenes. Of course we know that. We know. Epelle noted that he felt sympathy for the affected commissioners, describing them as loyal individuals who stood by Fubara during difficult times. The people that have been sacked, I feel for them because these are people that supported him and were there for him, he said. He emphasized that appointments in government are at the pleasure of the executive, meaning that the governor has full authority to make or undo such decisions. However, he added that the way this dismissal unfolded showed clear political undertones. There is a possibility that somebody somewhere is sitting and saying, I need these guys out. They obviously that's what happened. We already know. Well, you'll be serious. I wonder how a man disrepute to speak like this after knowing the main thing the governor laid off was because of the Supreme Court verdict. This is the kind of support they claim to have given him. It is for him to disobey courts. The other people, they know they disobey courts. Mubaladi says, with deep respect I have for this man, he has disappointed me. It looks as some of them are gaining from the crisis in Rivers State and they still wanted the crisis to continue. Fubara, please don't mind them. Do the rightful to avoid further crisis. Early in Epelle says he should appoint people he believes will help him deliver the dividend of democracy. Period. Fahid said, so why did he sack them since they stood by him? Providence says they stood by him to fight against Wike, so Wike would not want such commissioners. So he definitely wants to put Wike's people. Vinco Media says this man is a troubleshooter, so-called activist without the knowledge of the law, misleading people. Too bad for those taking his word serious. Can there be commissioners without screening by the House of Assembly? The so-called commissioners were not screened, so they have to undergo fresh nomination and screening by the House before they can function as commissioner. Epelle, please stop the war you are trying to create in the state. You were among who advised Fubara to become despotic. Migodi says that Jake's divisive cry here is very disturbing. These are commissioners that were appointed illegally, not ratified by the House of Assembly. And anomaly, yes, they seem right with Elder Jake, and that's what they are supporters. What an irony. Chimdu says, he is some wicked, evil minister of the Nigeria Federal Rascal. Sorry, capital Abuja. Atasaparume says, very unfortunate, but Wike should. That political power is not permanent. Okay. Wike should know that, that political power is not permanent. He says, support to become governor or supported to be suspended. Williams Ati says, you are a funny man. That train has moved on. Your conspiracy theory postulations is of no essence. Gabriel Masamini says, all that about are going on in Rivers State are heinous and no one can blame the governor as we're experiencing the New Hope agenda that had never happened in this country. As we now have a third-term governor, we are blamed even in an attempt by Obasanjo. As Chris Oswald says, democracy is long gone in Rivers. In Nigeria as a whole self, no democracy anyway. David Gabriel says, stupid cowardice. You people won't leave Fubara alone. Leave Fubara again. During emergency, your voices suddenly became silent and voiceless. Now don't start noise now, Abi. Obichema says, this character is one of the many that Fubara must avoid in this his second missionary journey. They don't mean well for him. What do you mean missionary journey? Felix Odom says, it's only fools that are still calling Fubara. I have talked about him since. Okay. NGO Business says, the hand of Ricky and the voice of Fubara. Atbala says, the hand truly is that of Esau, but the invisible voice behind the scene is that of Jacob. Epelle, what we have in position of power in Nigeria is in this yet another 4 years. After the wasted years of war is not what we deserve. We shall continue clamoring for that which is our desire. The good governance, the new Nigeria is possible. At Ifenkili says, Jacob Pearl looks fraudulent to me. Okay. A lot of people said this man did not want peace to reign in River State. Afterwards, UK single-handedly supported Fubara against all odds to become a governor. Ojojo says that serves him right. Serves you right. Ajayi Bolanyowa says, he will reappoint some of them. UK helped him by making people to vote for him. He should accommodate others too. Others that are not competent, Abi. Now, wow, this Evoboy Igbo says, why can't the Confucianist Albino mind his business and allow Fubara run his government the way he can have peace? Gabe says, never trust politicians, please. They have one mindset. Myself, not Nigeria first. Abrina, everybody will always choose themselves first. Christopher says, you're actually blind, Epelle. Who supported him more than Wiki and his team? It is not good to be a yellow man. Aminu says the commissioner were not legally cleared by State House of Assembly, hence notified their appointment. They only came to chop. Only 2 members of so-called House of Assembly cleared them. They've gone back home where they came from because they contributed to the crisis of River State, including that Epelle. Aguilepa says the man is just obeying the court judgment that notified all appointments he made without Rivers House of Assembly permission. He can still nominate and present them for screenshotting. Okay. Hassan says, implying Fubara has no mind of his own. This is an insult on the governor. A big one, no. It is well. As Emmanuel says, but this same Fubara doesn't feel for them and those of us who stood with him. Who is those of us? What are you expecting? My listeners, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.